trying to get some brownie points every now and then, and I had to grab them and hold them, and then teach them old school stuff when it needed. But I had to take myself through the same process that I took myself through before. I must say that this is almost 2 years. If you know the time I've been out of the ring, the time I've been out of the ring is almost 2 years. November. Yeah. 2 years. Sergey Kovalev. Yeah. So I had a chance to rest. I had a chance to, always stay, physically fit. So that didn't thing. But it's been 2 years that I haven't been in there. So I had a chance to rest. I had a chance to sharpen up. I had a chance to get refreshed again.
Thank you.
Any particular ring that you see your opponents against or some you see them? Go ahead. How do you see them? How have you trained for him?
How have you trained for Liam? Yeah.
For Joseph.
How do I train for him?
Yeah. Oh, not Liam. Sorry. Somebody said.
I train like I train for any fighter. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for anything you can do. You watch film. You try to find their strength, and you try to find their weaknesses, and you try to, exploit those weaknesses early than late. So, we all have, whether social media, database, or whatever. I'm about looking at my opponent. Some fighters don't look at anybody that they're fighting because they don't want to. But I always want to look at the good and the bad, but not get sucked in on either one because they don't necessarily have to fight that way. I just try to look at what I need to work on with me and make those adjustments if it's something I haven't seen.
Oh, and you have questions?
December 17th. Physically, how do you project yourself to feel compared to like 20 years ago? Can you kind of, how do you expect to feel physically on December 17th compared to
the same way I feel now? Because I can't expect to feel one way if I ain't feel the way I feel now.
And how are you feeling now?
How do I look?
You look very good. You look great. You look like you can fight another team.
Good. Better than me.
Answer your question.
Bernard, December 17th, you're walking into the ring with a new trainer. Can you expound?
It's not a new trainer. It's a trainer that's been in place. But John been with me for 4 fights, and I know him for when he was champion. John was a world champion. So we go back many years.
So Bernard, the first time you stepped inside a ring as a prize fighter was back in 1988.
He was in high school.
Now, I was barely going to go into middle school in 1992. So we're stepping back inside that ring for the very last time in 2016. What goes through your mind knowing that you fought in so many different generations, so many different decades?
I want the book to be written good. If this was a book and it was the end of that chapter or that book that you find already amazing, when that book is closed, I want you to be able to go down your memory lane and you're going to repeat to many people, man, you should see that movie. And then you should say, man, you should see that book. That book was, man, I read that book. Because the last thing that you remember about a book is not the beginning. It's the ending mostly, right?
Right.
To keep a memory how you can repeat the legacy of any sport figure. So that's how I look at it. I look at it as like the final icing on the cake, or that signature, exclamation point. Like you just like that's right there. Like that. This is it. If you into the Kentucky Derby, if you into the the Annie 500, if you into any major achievement, that that this is history, that that this is a chapter. Even if it's music, you got to see John Lennon, you got to see Bootsy for the whatever you like, whatever band, R&B, whatever it is, you got a chance to see Marvin Gaye for the last time. You got
Right.
that chance to go, if you're a Beatles fan, right? You got a chance, an Elvis fan. You got a chance in an era that I boxed 3 to 4 eras. Now remember, this ain't my era. The last 2 eras, if you do the math, it's not mine.
Yeah. You were counted out back then.
Forget counted out, right? 'Cause I'm counting in. But forget counted out. Everybody get counted out.
Right.
Something different, right? Out of life or whatever. If you talk about counted out back then, and again, it's not a different conversation, but if you know my history, you would know that I wasn't counted out in boxing. I was just challenged to see if I was different than any other fighter. I proved that.
Right.
Out of the ring, more than in the ring. Right? It's called smarts. I'm telling myself I am. I have to. If I don't tell myself I'm smart, then I won't be. And I strive to be that way. If you tell yourself you're not smart, you're going to be not smart. I achieved my first goal of success in the first part of my lifespan. That was rougher than boxing, business or physical in the ring. If you know anything about Bernard Hopkins' history, if you know anything about before I became who I became,
Right.
if you go any details about Bernard Hopkins, the inner city Philadelphia guy, through the penitentiary at 17, through 25, and survived without washing anybody underwear, you will realize that I became champion a long time ago, buddy. What I just did is got the interest of the bonus of being productive American citizen. So it's just more than just who I became as an athlete, as a public figure.
Right.
But if you look at the more deeper part of it, be like, yo, we talk about this dude about boxing. We talking about they counted you out this. He said, man, don't you know this man been counted out just by the system? From what he pulled off is amazing. And then he put that exclamation point and became who he became as a public figure. Come on, man.
Right.
This is Hollywood stuff.
Well, Bernard, you're 51 years of age. You're going to be 52 in January. People looking in are wondering to themselves, is this man crazy going in against a puncher who's 27 years old?
Some. And some are, and I want to believe that some are saying, do it for us. I think that when you are doing something and people are set and there's evidence that they should be that way and where things supposed to stop from you, even though you don't stop breathing, even though you don't stop being productive, I think that we as humans have limitations that we put on ourselves. Majority has limitations that they put on themselves that they never let themselves blossom and see the real value that they have in themselves while they're here. Because I figure like this, when it's all said and done, I don't want to regret what I didn't do and talk about it later on when I came through it. You like that? Don't you know there's a lot of people that if they're honest with themselves, they really can't look in the mirror and say, you know, I've done everything I wanted to do up to now, and I'm motivated to go forward. You got some people that wanted to be a boxer but never gave themselves a chance, or wanted to be a teacher but they never gave themselves a chance. It's not that they wasn't qualified. They was afraid to fail to win.
Politics in your future?